Welcome to Made for Mondays, the source for digging a little deeper into the Believers Church Sunday messages and finding ways to apply them to our daily lives. Together, let's take a deeper look and find a way to bring Mondays back to life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the pod. My name is Heather, and who are you people?
Hey there, Heather. It's me, Jamey.
Hello, it's me, Rochelle.
And hey, it's Rhonda.
Hi guys.
Rhonda, it's been a while since you've been on.
I know. This is like my third podcast.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know. Rochelle hosted just a couple weeks ago,
she
so
did.
She did a great job.
Aw,
yeah.
thanks.
You always do a great job when you host.
You're so kind. I was surprised you asked me back so soon.
You're so sweet. You guys, we haven't even chatted because for yesterday was Decorate the Hub Day.
Yeah, this is made for Tuesdays.
Yeah, so this is not made for Mondays. It's made for Mondays and sometimes Tuesdays, and this is a Tuesday edition.
Yep.
Because we were in full-on Christmas and Harborview prep mode yesterday.
My favorite.
Yeah, you do love it.
I love it.
But in that, we were like so busy, we didn't even get to talk about how everyone's Thanksgiving was.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was it? Did you guys have a good time?
It was lovely. We had...
It's your favorite time of year.
It is my favorite holiday. We had
Mhm.
everyone over, which isn't like for us, our family's relatively small. So there were like 11 of us. But it was really fun. Food was amazing. And little Esther, her first Thanksgiving, she sat at the table and they kept painting her stuff. And so
Did she have a special outfit that said "My First Thanksgiving"?
She did, yes. So she ate just a little bit of everything. It was pretty fun. And then she spent the night. So she had a sleepover at her grandparents' house. That was super fun. Yeah, we had a great time.
That's so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you girls?
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this because I feel like everything was so busy getting into show stuff right after Thanksgiving that when everyone would ask me the next couple of days, I'd be like, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
So for Thanksgiving, we had breakfast at my mom's, which was really fun time, and made some like TikTok dance videos. That's always good. And then dinner at my dad's, and we had a huge spread, and it was such a nice night out. So we did a big fire and just sat by the fire for hours.
That
it was
sounds so lovely.
really great. But we started a new tradition this year that I cannot wait to do again. On Friday night, we all came together and did a game night. And we played hood charades, y'all. It was hilarious.
Tell us all about it.
So it's like charades, but the prompts are very specific to like a very urban Black culture experience.
Jamey, you would crush it.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
you would rock it.
Yeah. Can I come next year?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes, it was so great. And I loved, we had a lot of interesting conversation about who in the room actually qualified as being from the hood.
Okay.
So that was really fun. And then the cards were pretty complicated concepts to act out. Like one was getting burned by a hot comb. Which was like a Sunday thing for me.
Like,
Because you're getting your
I
hair
can do
straight.
that. Yeah.
The other one was like put your old TV on top of the new, or your new TV on top of the old
Right.
TV instead of throwing it out. So it was so fun. And I was like, this is great. I would love to play it like with all different cultures because it was a great way to learn about each other's experiences.
Is it a made do it yourself? You made the game, or is it a game you purchased?
Yeah, we bought it online.
That's amazing.
Hood charades.
That's amazing.
I love that.
That was the best.
That's so fun.
We should do that as a church staff sometime. I'm getting excited about that.
We do. Our staff does like a good competition. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That'd be great. You could be. You could be
host
the host.
it.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That'd be awesome. All right, Rhonda,
So
what'd you
good.
guys do?
Yeah, so we got home from vacation really early Thursday morning.
yeah.
So that was super fantastic. But we had planned to go to a friend's house, but Ray was feeling under the weather, and one of them just was sick and shouldn't be around other people who were sick. And so we decided not to go. So we thought we would go ahead and make reservations for a restaurant. And got my little text back that said your reservation is, confirmed. And So I went to the restaurant at 2:00. We hadn't eaten breakfast because, on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself.
You got to pace
Right.
yourself. So we go to the restaurant and it's closed. And
But they took your reservation.
Yeah, sound familiar?
Man.
And so, so we're like, okay, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and everything seems to be closed right now. We're doing the restaurants near me and nothing's popping up.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, like we saw a Food Light that was open. And so we're like, maybe Kroger's open. So we went to Kroger and we're like, okay, back on the like sliced ham and we're like, okay, pull that off. Like the prepackaged mashed potatoes, pull that off. Like we did pull off some like homemade things. But if you need to know how to do a Thanksgiving dinner in an hour and a half,
Yeah,
I can do
got
that
it.
right here. And it was good. It was good. We enjoyed it.
Good.
That's a fun way to do Thanksgiving.
It'll be a memory that you
It
have.
will
Like
be a
remember
forever.
the Thanksgiving we got back from vacation and we had to
Yeah.
wing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would be disappointed to miss out on some of the things that I like, but that actually would be like a fun thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
Go to the
You got
grocery store.
5
You
minutes.
got 30 minutes to get your dinner together.
Oh
See
yeah,
what
it
you come
feels
up
like
with.
guys' grocery games
Yeah,
or something.
does.
that could be a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
It does.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, we did our annual. I say we. I video this event, but
Oh, yeah.
we did our annual now polar plunge.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so that was fun. That was at 3.
What was the temperature?
The pool was at 54.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't get in the pool until like the middle of July when it's like been warm
Right.
for a minute. But yeah, my husband and kids all did it.
Nice.
And our neighbor, he wanted to come out and see it and he didn't get out there in time. But he came like right as they were getting out of the pool and he was like, oh man, can you guys do it again? I missed it. You're like, next year, Bill. Yeah. Next year is the next time that you can see this. But we had a good time. We had a very small crew for us. We only had 12 people at our house for dinner. But it was very nice and everyone brings the things and a lovely, lovely evening. So I'm glad everyone had such a good Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah.
So you guys, we are still doing our Bible reading challenge. And as of yesterday, we started the book of James, which
Yes.
is one of my favorites.
Same.
Good.
So, and you know, coming off of Hebrews, another fave, going into James, so
Yep.
good. So has anything?
All this good reading right before we get to Revelation.
right. Yeah, we gotta like stock up.
I'm gonna try to come prepared to say, oh, I like this.
That's such a good goal.
Yeah.
I like that you're planning now
That's
for
what
that.
I am planning.
Yeah, good
Yep.
job.
Thanks.
Doing some
So
pre-reading.
anything standing out to y'all currently in what you've read the last week or even the start of this week since we're now into Tuesday?
So our elders met last night, and we usually have like a book of the Bible that we're reading through, but this year we decided to just whatever the reading of the day is,
Oh,
that's what we're doing.
That's a good
really
idea.
good.
Yeah, so we did James 2, was it 2 yesterday? But someone brought up, Robin Orr brought up
Of course.
the Bible Project video that talks about James being called Jacob. Did you watch that?
No, I have not.
Very interesting. They said, and I'm a little perplexed by it
Okay.
because what they said was the early transcripts that they have, copies of transcripts that they have of the book of James, the name James is actually would have normally been translated as Jacob, and for whatever reason it got translated as James. And so he said, what he said though was like, most modern translations call it Jacob. And I was like,
No, they don't.
Name a modern
Right.
translation that calls that Jacob. I don't know of any.
I don't know of any.
And I've never heard that before watching that Bible Project video. And so we were all a little perplexed by that. But very interesting. It's in the opening 30 seconds of the video.
Oh, I've got to watch it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So for those of you who maybe you missed the video, you can go back to your reading plan and check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the book of James just because it's so intensely practical. Yeah.
It so ties into the last 2 weeks of messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
it really
just
does.
like putting our faith into action, being content with what we have and
Yeah.
doing the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls, anything standing out to you specifically?
Yeah, I think something that stood out to me in Hebrews, I think it was 9, where he's talking about the covenant. And I was just thinking about that whole concept of covenant relationship and how it's just amazing the depth that God invites us into with him. And I was thinking, especially after yesterday, we were talking about just this idea of generosity and like how our faith translates in that way. I think in this season of the holidays and all of that stuff, we can often make it about, well, I'm going to give this, do this, check this off, and that's what my faith is. So just coming out of that Hebrews thing where we're thinking about, no, this is like a deep rooted, intense relationship that he is inviting us to be in with him, this reconciliation to him.
That's so
Good. Love that.
That's so good. I love Hebrews, like Hebrews 11, faith chapter. I
so rich.
can sit in that and learn so much. But this past week, Hebrews 13, there was a couple of verses that really hit me. And I love how God always, it's like he's showing us and because he's getting ready to really show us, right? And there was the passage, Hebrews 13:6, where he says, help me to show mercy to the poor and not miss an opportunity to do acts of kindness for others. And to me, that seems so simple, but for whatever reason, it just really just struck a chord with me. And I love how Jesus takes us deeper. It's like, but Jesus, I am doing that. He's like, but are you?
Yeah.
Like there's those moments and those opportunities. Don't miss one. And so that just really struck me. And then yesterday it was just like, okay, now there's all these things. Now I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
It's not missing an opportunity. It's being ready and taking it.
And James talks about in chapter 2, I think it is, about when we show mercy, then we are able to receive mercy.
Yes.
And if we choose not to do that, then that's withheld from us as well. So that just ties super well into that as also. Yeah. All right. Well, we had our standalone message this Sunday, and it's one of my favorite Sundays. It's the Gift Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
And I just love hearing about past gift projects and looking forward to what we're doing this year, and really just being able to celebrate the generosity that is Believers Church. I mean, it's remarkable. Every year we're just kind of blown away by everyone. So, Jamey, I'm wondering if you can just give us a little bit of background on the gift for those that may not have been at service yesterday, or just to kind of go a little bit deeper into some things you might not have been able to cover. Yeah,
so I did mention that it's the 20th. This is the
Crazy.
20th year that we've done the
So
gift,
crazy.
which is amazing. So I came back from France in 2003. Our family did, and rejoined the staff here. And I was one of the pastors at the time. There was senior pastor, and there was youth pastor, and me. And we had a planning meeting, and our youth pastor at the time knew of another church, I think down in Georgia, that had a year-end giving kind of initiative. And he said, it would be really cool to do something. The idea was, let's do something that's not for us. Let's do something that's, for our community, and, have an opportunity to do something that's not about building or, whatever the thing is. And so we launched. I don't even remember what we did that year. I really don't remember. Yeah. But that started it. The next year, those other two pastors were gone, and I continued with the gift. And we've been doing it ever since. Yeah. So it's just been very, very cool. And we've talked about changing it and being a part of a larger church initiative with other churches called Be Rich, which starts kind of in September, I think it is.
That's with our Irresistible Church Network.
Right.
Peeps.
But there's something about the gift that just seems to work.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe just continuing to do that for a while longer. We'll
Why
see.
tweak what's already
Yes.
working?
Yeah.
And our people know it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of y'all's favorite gift projects that we've accomplished over the years?
I mean, I have some, but go ahead.
I was a pretty big fan of paying off the school lunch debts. We did like
Yes.
$40,000. And one of the things I, loved about that was you get to go into these spaces
Yeah.
where you don't necessarily have like a voice all the time because you're religiously affiliated,
Yep.
and then separation of church and state, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you get to go in, and so many people were able to see, no, we are here for you.
Yeah.
There's no agenda that we have. We just want to care for students and people. I get to go into the schools all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do in this role. And they're like, hey, that's a church that's here for us.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
know that. And a lot of that started with some of that stuff with that gift project.
Yeah,
that
I
was
wrote
such a
that
good one.
as one of my favorites too, for the same reason.
Yeah.
It got us at the table with the school superintendent,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And it did. It just it allowed us to communicate to our community, even if the initiative itself. There were even a few families in our church that were like delinquent in some of their lunch things, and they got a letter saying that Believers Church paid off their kids' debt,
Yeah.
and they were a little embarrassed by the thing. So like for some families, it didn't make a huge dent, but for some other families, it really did. But the bottom line was it communicated to everyone that this is a church that's for our community.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
right.
what I loved about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have two that I just loved. One was the grocery buy down,
Yeah.
and that one has been more recent. But the reason I love that is because what I love is sitting in an interview with somebody who wants to come and serve in Next Gen. And I ask them how they came to Believers, and they tell me that somebody came into the Kroger and gave them a $100 gift card.
You had that happen?
I didn't have that happen, but I mean, I did in the Next Gen interview. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they were not a believer at the time, and they weren't going to church or anything. And they just were so overwhelmed that somebody would do this that they had to come and see who we were.
That makes it all worth it.
It does.
Every dollar.
Every dollar. The other one that I have that I have to say is when we did, part of the gift was for the inclusive playgrounds that we currently have.
Yeah.
And that, we make these investments because it's eternal. It keeps on giving, right? It may seem like it's a one-time thing, but it is not. Jesus is using it and multiplying it. And this playground, originally when it was created, was specifically to be inclusive to kids with special needs and disabilities. And I remember a family coming out and saying, here is my 14-year-old son who has never, ever been on a swing before and can now swing on the swing. And I mean, we got it on video because it was so amazing. The laughter and the joy that was coming from this little boy. And it was beautiful. So moved to our free market this year where a mom saw invitation, came out just to see what was going on, walked by the playground and was absolutely just amazed and came and started asking questions because she is a child with special needs and disabilities, was not going to church anywhere, was not connected anywhere. And now comes all the time, brings her son. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
So
great
good.
stories.
Yeah.
Rhonda.
I know.
My goodness, that's incredible.
That's ready for today, guys.
Yeah, that's
So great.
That's amazing. But that agrees with what Scripture says in Acts 2, where the church sold their possessions, gave to those who were in need, and then Luke tells us that the church enjoyed great favor with all of the people, and the Lord added daily to their church those who were being saved. And that's what generosity does. It impacts people. It gets you in a seat of favor with the schools in your community, and some end up coming to faith, right?
Yeah.
All because of a generous act. That's amazing.
It's so good. We've been able to do projects overseas with our global partners that have been
Yeah.
incredible. Church planting, church building.
Yep.
coming alongside just different things in Nicaragua over the years as we did meal packs and provided for things at the orphanages. It's just something that I think gives a real focused effort to boosting our relationships with our partners, both locally and globally.
Yep.
So let's talk through a few of, let's talk through all of them.
Yeah.
This year's goals. So the first one is for Mosaico Church.
Yes.
And what are we looking to accomplish there?
Rochelle.
Oh, yeah. So I'm very thrilled with this new partnership. It's going to be one of our first big efforts that we have with them. But in this, like as Jamey said yesterday, it wasn't yesterday.
2 days ago, but that's all right.
On Sunday. We are going to be supplying them with these kits that are going to meet needs for the immigrant families that are coming into their faith community. And one of the other things that's really cool about Mosaico is that when a family gets to the country, they're becoming known as the place to go to get help, which is sort of like that same heartbeat that we want to have people know. I need support. I go to this church, and that's so they have that same kind of DNA.
Yeah.
So we're going to be helping to supply.
Yeah. And I mentioned that, they're a domestic church, but we view them as an international global partner. And, Jesus said to go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. But in this instance, the nations are coming to us.
Yes.
And so, regardless of what your political perspective is on immigration, our mandate as followers of Jesus is to make disciples of all people.
Right.
And so they're welcoming these folks into that community and helping them get connected and grounded and oftentimes protected, because many of the folks that are arriving there, they've been trafficked, they've been abused, they've experienced
A lot of trauma.
incredible amounts of trauma. So their work. I spent some time talking with Melissa and Ramiro, and their work is daunting. Like it's pretty incredible what God has called them to do and what they are doing, and for us to be able to take some pressure off of their shoulders is just such a great thing. I'm so excited.
I really love that you pointed out yesterday the makeup of their church community because. As they're adding to their number, they're not necessarily adding to the financial contribution that it takes to do church and to come alongside of all of these families that do need assistance. Like they're made up of a poor people, and so to be able
people are showing up. They're not employed anywhere. So they don't have anything.
Yep. So to be able to come alongside them financially in monthly, which we're doing, but then to also help meet some of these needs is just so exciting. So grateful to be a part of that.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're going to be, and the dollar amount, our goal for that is $5,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And from what I understand, I can't remember how many kits you said that they are generally doing, or how many families they're taking in, but I think the estimate is it can kind of help them for about 6 months.
6 months to a year.
Yes. Yeah. Because they'll have, they need like a storage unit.
Right.
And then, so it'll go towards storage and the actual supplies that are coming in. Yeah. They're having, it can be like feast or famine, where there can be like a family trickle in 1 week and then 3 families the next week sort of thing. So
yeah.
It's awesome.
And I think that's important too. Rochelle and I were able to be there a couple months back and just kind of see what their space was like. And they're in a storefront basically. And so they don't have storage.
Right.
So that was part of what we wanted to do, was not just say like, oh yeah, you can go get these supplies and have them, but also to help pay for where they can keep them. And because right now Melissa was saying that when they do bulk supplies, sometimes it just ends up in Melissa and Ramiro's house.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to try to kind of relieve some of that too. Well, the second part of our project this year is for Word of Life Camp. This has been part of the gift for a few years now. And this year we're increasing that to 30,000, but we're kind of shifting how we're going to be using those funds a little bit. Rhonda, can you tell us more about why this is so important to Next Gen and why this is consistently part of something that is a part of the gift?
For sure. I loved, Jamey, when you shared yesterday that 414 window, which is what we often refer to that as most people who accept Christ, it's 85% is between the window of age 4 and 14. And man, we just have an opportunity to be able to pour into. I was thinking about this even this morning of just the life change that takes place. So as we talk about interviews, I love doing our Next Gen interviews because we get to learn so much about our people who are wanting to serve. And I was just looking back at the last 5 that I had. 4 of the 5 interviews, when I read their information about how they came to know Jesus, 4 of the 5 were at camp.
Yeah.
And we do not realize what happens when we can pull the next generation out of this world and take them to a place where they can just start peeling off like lies from the enemy, things that are even the littles, right? They're in a safe place. They're having fun. But every day they're learning about Jesus. And it's those moments where it gets to really sink deep into their hearts. So much life change happens at camp. And not only, and I loved the way that you said that yesterday too, Jamey, was it's not just in our students and our kids, but it's also in the lives of our adults because we don't do that either, right? Do we go on vacations and take a week-long retreat where we're getting just constantly Jesus? I mean, it is possible. There are things that offer that. But it changes us, and it changes us when we see the life change in those kids and those students. Yeah. So this year, we're heading back to New York again, just so everyone knows, Word of Life. We're so excited about that opportunity. We have been so blessed by Word of Life. And their focus on meeting kids and students where they're at. And it's just been an amazing journey for us to be able to partner with them again. Yeah.
Sidebar, and most people probably know this, but our global partnership in Brazil is with John and Eliana Reimer, and he is the director of Word of Life Brazil. And so the major part of what he does is providing those camp experiences for kids in another country.
Yes. Yeah.
And, they see thousands of kids come to faith, and it's a remarkable ministry, one that's global, and it started right there in Screen Lake, New York.
It sure did.
Yeah.
I think also what you were saying about how it affects our adults that get to go to camp, it also affects the kids and students' families, right? Because when these kids and students come back from camp, they're sharing their experience with their families. And that's always, for me, one of the favorite things is like the couple weeks after camp when you start hearing parents talk about how their kids were changed at camp. And it has like just such a drastic effect on even their in-home relationships. And
so true.
It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
So what is the money going to be used for this year with Camp Experience?
Yeah. So the money that's going to be coming in from the gift is directly going to completely pay off the bus. And which means that families are only paying for the cost of camp. And with what's coming in, we actually get to bring that down from what camp is actually costing from Word of Life. So we're actually discounting that as well. So just making it affordable for families to be able to send their kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good.
Yep.
All right. The next thing is something that both of you really can talk about, but it's our Suffolk Public Schools assistance that we're going to be offering this year. And so what are the schools and what are we going to be able to do?
Oh, Rochelle, go. This is so exciting.
Through this effort.
So we are really focusing in on supporting our what we call neighborhood schools. And so that's like really within our neighborhood radius. And that includes Northern Shores Elementary School, Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School, and Creekside Elementary School, and Nansman River high school. And we kind of approached all of the schools, and we wanted to know what their greatest needs were instead of being like, hey, here's this project you should do because we think it's cool.
Yeah.
That's always important to us to find out, what is something that they really could use assistance with. And so there's just really cool projects, I think, that are coming out of it. And one of my favorites is Nansemond River. They've had these proposals on desk for these empowering projects that they want to do with students, but they haven't had the funding. And that's really cool to be able to say, you know what? Let's do it. Let's fund it.
Yeah. So what are those projects? Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes. Yeah. So one of them is a garden that they're going to do. It's super cool. The garden will be run by the science departments. And then all of those students will be able to caretake that and learn that skill set. And then the health and nutrition department is going to have all of those students to harvest the crops and then prepare the produce. And I just think that's so cool to be able to do that with students. And then the other part of it is going to help start off a coffee shop that is going to become sufficient, but they just needed some startup funding. And so we're going to be able to fund that. And that coffee shop is going to be run by and supervised by the special needs department. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really giving students like skills that they can take into their next phase of life too, not just when they're at school. And I know we're doing a lot of, you mentioned we have a lot of teachers here, educators at Believers. But that's one of the initiatives that both of the elementary schools really expressed being a greatest need is just like boosting the morale of their staff.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be really fun to see what all sorts of different projects that will kind of be able to happen through that. And we're still working on the Cherry project, but that will probably be something in concert with the grant that they're given for reaching military families and coming alongside them. So that'll be really exciting too. And as we get more information about that, we will certainly be passing that along. But so great. I mean, the next gen is such the heartbeat of Believers Church. And so to be able to pour into our neighborhood schools is just, it just fits. It's a good fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there actually was something else that came up in one of my meetings. This was at Creekside. I was meeting with their assistant principal, asking what are their needs. And they said, that was so great last year because we had, was it like overage that came in last year? And we were able to just give some dollars to the schools and say, hey, we're thinking of you. Here's some dollars. And it was so incredible. So I was in the meeting and she was like, oh, and we should go walk outside. You guys funded a garden that we did last year.
That's so good.
That's
So awesome.
So it's, it keeps going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So great. All right. And then the final piece of this year's The Gift Project is Rise Against Hunger.
Yeah.
You're so excited about this.
I am. I love this. So Rise Against Hunger, you can go to the website, riseagainsthunger.probably.org.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just such a great organization. And Robin Orr gets a second mention in the podcast. He was the first one to bring this ministry to us. And he kind of spearheaded and backed doing a food packing event some years ago. And it was just so much fun. And so we set up in the Commons and they bring in all the stuff. And the cool thing is, as we pack these meals, our hands are the last hands that touch these before they get opened by the community that will actually need it and benefit from it. So this meal packing event will provide 60,000 meals to a community in need. And we'll be able to track it after it packs. That's my understanding of where exactly it'll go. So after we're done with that event, which is on January 21st, we will, kind of track how it goes and where it goes.
Yeah.
And that'll be kind of fun. But it's such I love it so much because not only does it meet such a great need, but it mobilizes us as being a part of the solution. And we're not just giving dollars, we're putting on our hairnets and
Yeah.
showing up to actually put the food together that we're going to send to these communities. And I just think it's a great model for how to meet a need and engage the people who are actually doing the meeting of the need.
Yeah, and it's such a great thing to do with your whole family.
It really is. Yeah, it's going to fill up. So whenever that goes live on our signups, that event will fill up pretty fast. So I encourage you. I can't remember what the age limit is on the youngest, but those of you families with kids, you should be a part of that event. And I will step out of it and just show up to observe. To make room for your family to be a part of it, because it's just so great.
Rochelle, do you know the ages?
No, I'll have to. But they're super inclusive. I think of all ages. I know one year we've had like mamas wearing babies and slings. Because there's so many different ways to put them.
Put them to work. It is so fun. And this is the biggest one we've ever done, right?
It is, yes.
Rochelle, what was the last one we did? Was
20,000.
20,000. So we are doing, it's going to need a lot of people.
Yes. I had to book a lot more space.
Right.
For this one.
Yeah. It's
I guess we're
great.
probably using the auditorium too.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, how fun.
Yeah.
So great.
It's going to be great.
We need to talk about this in worship planning team, but I'll discuss it a little bit here right now.
Okay. That meeting's
Just
not
start
till,
the conversation.
that meeting's not till tomorrow.
I think it would be super fun to like put all the boxes on stage
Oh, that would be fun.
as we're doing it. And then be able to like keep them for a day maybe. Before
I don't know if they'll let you do that or not.
They did at one church that I was at. I'm just saying.
All right, we'll see what
See
happens.
how much influence we have.
Yeah, normally they take the pallets out, pack it in the truck, and it's gone.
I'm sure Robin can sweet talk them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of Robin,
yeah.
I know.
put him to work.
Get to it.
All right. Well, you guys, that is so exciting. And like we said at the beginning of the podcast today, this coming weekend kicks off all things Christmas in Harborview. So what is happening and how can everyone be a part of it?
Rochelle, do
you
you know what's do you know what's
Rochelle,
happening?
what are you
There's
doing?
something going on. Yes. So this weekend we kick off first Jams Christmas Carol, which is our holiday production, and there's 3 different show times that folks can check out. There's Friday at 6:30, Saturday at 2, and another Saturday at 6:30. You can go ahead and just sign up for that. It's a general sign up on our website,
And it's free.
It's free.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really excited because it's not only just a fantastic show made up of wonderful volunteers that we have here, but we also have local businesses that our team has worked so hard to have joining us.
Yes, I'm so excited about that.
me
So
too.
we have I don't know if I should give just one a shout out. Maybe you can tell me some of the others, but I know Knott's Coffee Company is one of those that is going to be partnering with us. So we just invited local businesses to just be a part of this event, to showcase what they do. And we're not getting donations from them. We're paying for the stuff that we're using.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to, continue to build relationships in our community. So this is truly a community event, and that makes me super happy.
Yeah.
And Rochelle, outside of the show, there's other stuff going on, right? I mean, there's stuff that families will enjoy.
Yeah, so they'll be able to have sweet treats from other businesses too. And there's a fantastic photo booth experience, and the place is just so gorgeous.
It really is.
Yeah, it's going to be really
Super
fun
fun.
It's going to
time.
be very fun.
Yeah, and then we kick off our new series.
Yeah, Jamey, you want to tell us about this? Is like your heart and
Yeah.
soul series, so you want to tell us about it?
So I'm writing the Christmas Eve service this week, and I started it last week, and it's one of the hardest messages to write all year long. It's the story of Jesus being born. Everybody knows it. And yet you got to tell that story.
Right.
I for a lot of years, I never really talked about Christmas at Christmas, and people got mad at me. So I'm talking about Christmas and Jesus being born and trying to do it in a way that's fresh and relevant. But the series is called Bah Humbug. And it's really not a down on Christmas series.
Right.
It's really more about... if you think about Ebenezer Scrooge, he was down on Christmas until the miracle that happened to him turned his perspective around. And we often think of the first Christmas as this little panacea of joy and tranquility and all of these things, but it was total pandemonium and chaos.
It was.
And the players in the actual first Christmas were under tremendous amounts of stress and duress and the rest. And so, and yet they were willing participants in God's story unfolding. And so we're going to just look at who they were and how they participated and what unfolded as they did that. And it'll culminate with the miracle of the birth of Jesus.
Yeah. I'm so excited about it.
I think I got your solution to mixing up a Christmas story this year.
Okay.
So Jams is a retelling of Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Yes, which is my favorite Christmas story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It
Oh,
is.
yay. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy this one.
It's
Martin
your
Burke.
favorite more than Jesus?
Come on, don't Jesus juke me like that.
I'm just wondering. You said it's your favorite.
It's my favorite make-believe story at Christmas.
Yeah. There you go.
Accepted
Yes.
response.
I love
rephrase.
that. Well, this is an urban retelling of it with a rap artist who loses his way and becomes the Scrooge character.
And
So
is
you
that our elder Martin Burke?
That is Martin Burke.
So Martin Burke showed
Yeah.
up at our elders meeting last night with pajamas on. So
Did he have his gold chains on?
I
also?
don't think he had his gold chains on. I didn't notice that.
Okay. Well, there may be gold chains coming.
Okay.
No spoiler alert. But you could wrap it. You could wrap that.
Oh, you could
service.
wrap your. That's what she's saying.
Jamey. He's thinking wrapping
Yeah.
as in wrapping
Wrap
a
it?
box.
Yeah. See, this is how poorly I would do on the charades.
game.
Yeah. Oh, wrap it? Yeah, I wrap all the presents in my house. I love that we did full circle. That's really good.
Well, I was thinking like she was going to
Yeah.
suggest that you charade out the message,
Oh.
and so it could be very audience participation. Like
I
you
also
could,
like that.
you
Yeah.
could act each
Yeah.
section, and then everyone could do their own telling.
Right.
Hey.
Story.
Yes.
What is this?
If you're not watching on YouTube, of all of the weeks to watch on YouTube,
Yeah.
you must do it this week.
Oh man.
It's an essential part of the Christmas story.
Jamey just charaded part of the story. You have to watch
Is it a
it.
reindeer? Were you on a reindeer?
No, the real
Mary
Christmas story.
on a donkey.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Jeepers, you guys. Christmas is about Jesus. What is wrong with this staff?
Well, she's doing.
I know.
Rochelle is up to her eyeballs in the Dickens Christmas
true.
story.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's true.
yeah.
All right. Well, this is all we have time for today. This is
was
getting
really-
off the rails.
Really
so we hope to see you guys at Jams. Make sure that you come out on Friday or Saturday. And then don't forget to be here for our Bah Humbug series that starts on Sunday. You can come to campus at 9 or 10:45. And then we'll also have it on YouTube at 1 o'clock.
Actually, come just a few minutes before that so you're not late.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. It
yeah.
starts at 9 and 10:45.
Yes,
So
please,
come and get
people,
some
please.
coffee from Knott's because our Knott's partnership is extending beyond this weekend. We are
is.
now going to be serving Knott's coffee every Sunday.
So
at
good.
Believers. So exciting.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for being here, friends. Go and be love.